Let me tell y'all something out there. Let me tell y'all something. There's one sin. When I was in the street, for some reason I stayed in touch with sin. Because I was sin. I was of the world. For some reason, because I was of the world. And for some reason, I paid attention to sin, no matter what sin it was. I got used to sin, got acquainted with sin, became friends with sin. I never loved sin. I barely even liked sin. But I just had to do business with sin. And it wasn't nothing I could do. Couldn't avoid it, had no choice but to deal with sin. But I noticed something when I was dealing with sin. Moving around with sin, making moves with sin. I noticed sin wasn't that bad for some apparent reason. Sin had a certain low of frequency. No matter what sin it was, sex sin, drugs, it could go darker and deeper than that. No matter what the sin was, I realized the sin was just the sin. But then I started noticing moments that would come around while I was enthralled in sin. And when these moments come around, it's a particular moment when it's time for you to sin like normal. But believe it or not, that's when you shouldn't be sinning. That's when you should do what's right. You should never sin. But if you born into sin and you used to sinning, you don't really acknowledge the fact that you're sinning, just like a lot of people that's living behind these images, pretending. You don't recognize that you're sinning. You don't recognize that you're a sinner. You're too busy pointing the finger at somebody else and telling them, you need to do this, when you do this, you can do. I'm already perfect. You don't put me in no situation and put a gun to my head and force me to do this or did. Tell me you see me low vibration, do you want to do videos about it? That's wrong in so many ways. That's what lukewarm looked like. But anyway, when I did the sin, when I was thinking about this sin, I noticed something about this sin. I committed the sin and I was wrong when I committed the sin, but after I committed the sin, I started cleaning up my sins. Because things started going wrong in my life. It was like when you young and you sin and you don't know no better, it's like you don't get punished like you typically would when you grown and you know better. So I'm noticing at this point, after this particular sin that I committed, I'm getting punished. I'm starting to notice the punishment. I continue to sin because I'm not getting it. And the punishment start to get greater. Now I'm getting to the point where I don't want to sin no more. I'm out of here sin. Me and you are no longer dealing with each other anymore. Business is over. Well, when you get away from sin, you gotta learn how to not sin. You gotta abstract from sin. You gotta abstract from sin, and you gotta invert yourself to being real while you still a sinner. Or revert yourself to being real. Because you inverted yourself to be a sinner. And when you do that, you gotta admit the stuff. You gotta tell the truth. And you might lose everything. But I knew I didn't want these lashes anymore. I knew I didn't want these lashes anymore. That's what I like about this situation right here. I'm the pillar. I'm that light that the angels keep attacking. I'm that light. I'm the pillar. And it's an honor to be right here. You know how much you got to elevate and upgrade to get right here? I know y'all said attack after attack. He sold the devil. Now you with the devil. You over there in the bed with the devil. Because anything that's of God, any child of God wouldn't just get in the bed with you anyway, no matter what it is. I don't care what kind of story they told y'all. The story they tell y'all about as good as this restroom story. Garbage. Now, I'm telling y'all, boy, I'm getting wrapped up in y'all now. Really. So let's get real with it. So what happened is, in this situation, I'm that pillar. So the last sin that I started getting these punishments from, that was a pillar. Them were pillars. 50 overseas. 50 overseas contract, somebody, women or something. Whatever, I don't know. Anyway, I'm that pillar. Okay? Now, before this, I was attacking these pillars. And then it came this one point of time in my life. At this point, I can have any woman I want. That's why I own all this stuff y'all talking about. It must be a model thing. Because everything else is irrelevant. You can have a woman regardless. I don't know what kind of lie that is. So, even that weight tag, I think that's garbage. But anyway, so I'm doing this stuff and I'm sinning. I'm used to sinning. I'm cool with sinning. I'm in the streets with the other G's and we all sinning. Well, it's done got to the point now, I'm getting lashes for these sins. Big time. And I'm looking around me and wondering why everybody else ain't getting it. That's when you start to realize God done separated you because you ain't no human. You're an angel, probably. There's something different about you when you start to notice that. Everybody's sinning even worse than you, but they're not getting lashes like you are. So finally, God introduced me to a young lady. But my family had already contained. My family went out their way and drove to this person. They didn't even know I was across the street. I seen my family. They didn't even know this person. They drove up to this person. My family been attacking me since I was little. You made my life an absolute horrible living hell. And then you got the audacity to talk about how I'm making y'all look bad. No, you made yourself look bad when you decided to sacrifice somebody. Now, I'm finna rock and roll now. If y'all ain't did nothing right yet, and this been going on for a long time. You mean to tell me you can humiliate me my whole life? You can display my personal life, and you can make money off of my humiliation. And now, for one time in your life, it's a time in your life where you actually got to be humiliated for something that you can't own up to it. But you big though. Now, anyway, so I got to this point and I said, darn, I treated this girl really not bad, but I left her. I left her for one, she didn't tell me why my family visited her. And I left her for two, I didn't get it. But I knew I could have fixed that. But I didn't think she was up to par. I didn't think she was what I needed at the time. I would listen to everybody else. You can do better than that. You can have better than that. What is better than that? When God give you something, it ain't nothing better than that. It ain't nothing better than that when God give it to you. It ain't no more work to put in it. Your atmosphere just different, and you ain't ready for that kind of atmosphere. You got to move yourself out the way. Because you ain't mature enough. Let's just say that. Let's just real, because people keep on pointing this finger. That person ain't this, that person ain't that, and they ain't got this going for themselves. Well, what if we say you ain't tough enough, you ain't hard enough, and you are not strong enough? Don't that sound just as harsh? What if somebody said that? You are weak, and you need your money. See, just like you talk down on a poor person can talk down on a rich person. You hide behind your money. you better go to the hills and you better not ever ride through the hood, especially in that ride. What if we start talking like that, right? But anyway, that, you can always go back and forth, But anyway, so I did wrong by this young lady. Horrible mistake. And you better know I paid for it later. Horrible mistake. And as I did wrong by this young lady, I'm continuing to be the sinner that I always have been. But I'm starting to realize I might have just been turning down and destroying stuff that God been putting in my life that I was actually supposed to keep in my life, and that was actually supposed to make me a family. That was actually supposed to help me create my life of my own. By this time, I done dug a grave and throwed everything in it that God gave to me that's supposed to help me. So finally, I started elevating and healing myself tremendously. And then my eyes changed, my physical eyes changed, and I started seeing, okay, this is what's been going on. And I talked to an old guy about it, and he said, wow, you gotta be wise beyond your years. Cause I don't think I ever hear that from a person your age, and probably never hear it again till the day I die. He said, but yeah, that's exactly how it is. Or she said it, I can't remember who it was. He said these opportunities, you go through life sinning your whole life, messing up your whole life. No matter if you're rich, no matter if you're poor, no matter who you are, you go through life your whole life doing something wrong your whole life. Now it's that one time in your life that God will come to you. And God don't do this many times. And this is in one lifetime. And it's a must that you don't fail every time that God come to you. Cause he even put a count on it. I think it was like 7. It's not many at all. It's like 4 to 7. It ain't many at all. So when the guy, he said, when you notice this, be weary, be understanding, and be ready for it. Cause it'll sneak up on you. It'll catch you. It'll get you when you at your prime. It'll walk up on you when you got it going on. It'll come up on you when you good. But that's a gift from the divine. And no matter how good you doing in your life, you are never doing too good for a gift from the divine. Even if you got to be a friend to that gift, you don't want to ever fail the mission of being good to that gift from the divine. And you better look it in the eyes. Because if it was a gift to you and you want to turn it down, you better look it in the eyes. I'm adding this part because I done went through it too much. So I started, when he said it, I started paying more attention. Finally, I got in another position. And I failed God again. That's when I realized, oh, wow, I'm failing God when I failed this mission. I'm failing God when I sin right here. You sin, I ain't saying sin is good. Everybody's sin. That's not what I'm saying. You can't have no selective hearing for this. I'm saying you got to grow from, you got to evolve out of sin because we're born in sin. And as you do, you need to notice sin. And then you need to notice what kind of sin you in. Like everybody's sins is different sins, but somehow, some way, every time you sin, it's the same sin. For you personally. Another person is a different sin. Okay? So let's say a lover or somebody come into your life, or like I come into your life, or somebody else come into your life. How do you treat that person? Are you going to hide in the dark and ease up on them and do this and do that and do? You're going to let the person, if it's a gift from God, and you a child of God. I used to pick on preachers when I used to go to church all the time. And they used to say, don't touch this person, they got the devil in them. Don't touch this person, they got the devil in them. And eventually I got tired of hearing that, and I used to tell them, well, I thought you said you had God in you. So you sure is terrified by these people. Don't you? If they got the devil in them, don't you supposed to cast them out? And that they always look at me with the same look, the discouraging look on their face. Grown people, well educated, you know what I'm saying, got it together. But when they hear somebody like me tell them that, they don't know how to take it. Baffled. You need some oil to put on your hand. You know, Jesus walked up to the man that had legions in him. It wasn't no demon. It was legions. For we are many. Jesus went up to him, scared him half to damn death. They jumped out of the man, just looking at him in the eyes. See what I'm saying? So what happened? So it finally got to this point where I failed God. And this time, after talking to that energy that I talked to, I really broke down because I could feel what he was talking about. I could see the opportunity in the wave of the energy that I disrespected. I could see the loss in what I was doing. I could see that if I don't make this right, I was gonna lose a once-in-a-lifetime chance, just like in the past. And I said, Lord, I can't lose anymore. So you gotta get yourself off them high horses. Ain't nobody gonna help you off a high horse, especially when you paying. People are programs, all the way down to your own family. We are all in an Ouroboros, and we all, 8 billion of us, we all have an individual mission. And everything is, all them programs and everything we do, no matter who we are, revolves around that one purpose in your life. And when you get to the Libra scale, God gonna say, well, why didn't you do this? You can't say. There's people out there right now saying, God ain't gonna be able to say that. How you know? You won't know until you clean your life up. You can't say that. This is a complicated lecture right here. This is something to think about. You get to that Libra scale, and I ain't talking zodiacs. You get to that Libra scale, and God gonna be like, I told you this. I warned you of this. And this is how you treated my child. This is how you treated my prophet. This is how you treated my anointed one. This is how you treated my chosen one. And you're gonna look at God, you're gonna wanna look at God and say, you didn't say this to me. Well, I'm finna prove it to you right here that you'll never be able to say that to God when you cross over. I just said it. There's many sins in the world, but for some apparent reason, each and every last one of us keeps sinning in the same department, no matter if the sin may look different, but for some reason the sin falls under the same category of the rest of the sins throughout our life. So you in the Ouroboros, and Ouroboros just coming around, and you get these, you gotta picture the Ouroboros. You gotta picture the Ouroboros like a snake like this, right? You picture the Ouroboros, there's points in the Ouroboros. And ain't but 7 points in this Ouroboros. And as them points go around, you live your life, you get rich, you get educated, you do this, do that. That's what people like to say to me. You're gonna get, I don't need no education. You're supposed to get my money that everybody took from me because I done created educations. You can't say that to somebody like me. You can't steal from me and then turn around and tell me to go get no education. I done created education in 5 years. You go make me you go get my money. That's what you could do. From them doppelgangers. Somebody chill out, bro. I can feel the answer. I'm for real, bro. Y'all need to sit down out there with that L12 lame. Just lame, bro. LAF. Now, so you see the points in this Ouroboros. I seen one of y'all was in y'all farm and you was sitting there crying. Man, look at the education. Well, I hope you're on the right side. Don't just cry for me. Don't act like you're a child of God and you over there on the other side with the rest of them torching the child of God. You better question what I said when I said that about the light. Why is angels attacking the light? That's what everybody better start talking about. What's up, man? Let's get real out here. It's time to get real. Let's do it. We want to get real for one time in our life. Let's get real for God. So, you got these points in this Ouroboros. So it's going around. For some reason, all the sins are the same. I know you're thinking about it now as you hear this lecture. You're starting to realize, man, all the sins are the same. You could be in the street sinning, leave out the street, graduate out the streets to get to a normal life, and somehow your same sin. What was your sin in the street? What was really your sin and your thorn in your flesh in the street? You were sleeping with random women, probably. Now you're married, you're out of that situation, you're no longer in the street, but you're still sleeping with different women. Now you are lustful, now you are adulterous. You're a fornicator. See how that works? Same sin. So, okay. Watch this. You meet a woman or you meet a man, and this woman and this man is very intelligent, got a lot going for themselves, but it ain't your cup of tea. Not your typical status quo. And you treat them real low. And you make sure everybody else treat them real low. And you tell them how they can do better for themselves. Some of y'all even probably marry these people and still treat them low. Well, whether you friends or you marry these people tell you some good stuff, spiritual stuff. You take their credibility, you take what they done taught you, and then you go and talk to your friend that you want to be you, that you want to respect you, that really don't respect you, and you talk to them and you tell them the stuff that this person that you feel that's lower than you taught you. And now you feel spectacular. Now you feel like you somebody because they think you talking like you got some sense. Now watch this. This friend of yours been talking to you, or this lover, and they've been pouring into you. They've really been telling you stuff, spiritual stuff, and you've been elevating greatly, outstandingly. You've been elevating. But you were so busy taking their stuff and making it your own and putting it out in the world as if it was your own and getting the credit for it, you totally forgot about the friend that actually taught it to you. But what you didn't hear was this friend teaching you the truth and helping you to understand what you need to do for you to really be true to you, to cross over on that other side and get to heaven with God. You didn't hear that part. You heard that knowledge. You heard everything that you could see that you can make money off of, but you didn't hear the soul saving part. And that friend or that lover done been in your life for a long time. And you never heard that part. They done told you everything. Social media in your face or not, they done told you everything, taught you everything. You never heard that part. You never heard that part. So you die. Now it's time for you to cross over. Or you feel like God is going to take you in because everybody told you you was the child of God on earth. Surely I tell you the truth. Many would say, Lord, Lord, and never see the kingdom of heaven. Many would say, Lord, Lord, and never see the kingdom of heaven. So this person was telling you about you in the way they liked you. They loved you. They wanted you to love them. But you were so much better than them. They didn't want to tell it to you like they felt like they should tell it to you, so they wanted to tell it to you in a way that you wouldn't lead them. That's how much they loved you. But somehow, deep down inside of them, they felt like they really didn't get through to you. And they really didn't, because you never got it, even though you got it. So you cross over, you die, and you go to that Libra scale, swear that you finna get in heaven. And God send you straight to hell. God gonna tell you you're going to hell, and immediately you're gonna try to say something. But believe me when I tell you, most of the time, nobody got nothing to say. Nobody got nothing to say. Why? Because whatever that Libra scale gonna ask you and say to you, you're gonna remember everything that friend told you. And you're gonna know when God said, I sent my anointed one down there, I sent my child down there, I sent my prophet down there, I sent the chosen one down there, and they warned you. And what did you do? Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us for our debts, we also have forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil. Your power and kingdom and glory forever. Amen. So since y'all want to stay in my life, stay in my restroom, and keep this gun to my head like the family do, we gonna get more realer now. Since I done elevated to the point where I ain't gotta cuss at you. Since I done elevated to the point where I ain't gotta waste no emissions on you. Since I done elevated to the point where I ain't gotta tell the truth about you, well, tell your secrets about you. Since I done elevated to the point where I ain't gotta talk about your forms and your bonds and your secret organization and your covenants and how you try to destroy people for a living, I'm gonna really give it to you. Everybody out there. Because there is a heaven and it ain't on earth. I don't know who the hell started that lie. There is a heaven and it ain't on earth. And there's a hell too, there's a Hades too, and it ain't on earth. The hell is walking around on earth, capturing y'all to take you there. And you better know it.